Hey, what's up? Mr. Bill here, sitting here with Frequent, and today we're telling you about this track that we just finished, which we're naming Hilbert's Problems. You might have watched us doing the live streams, but yeah, we finished the track now. We've decided that we're going to share with you all the videos from all the streams, which total up to like 34 hours and 11 minutes and 12 seconds, and also share a bunch of content with you. Basically, we're going to share with you all of these things in this folder. So we have the final stemmed version of the track, the pre-stemmed version, which I'll explain in a second. Then a bunch of stems in a folder, just in case you don't use Ableton and you want to load them into your own DAW. And then some racks that we made and used along the way whilst we were writing the tune. And I'll explain why we're giving you the racks also. So basically all this content is like 2 gigabytes worth of stuff, and you can go through and reverse engineer it and check out all the how we did everything basically, as well as watch along with the videos and see how we did everything. And I think that the way that this differs a lot from downloading, say, masterclasses or something like that, is that literally all the content that we're giving you here is just us fucking around in the studio for 35 hours writing this tune. And I think that's really cool, right? Because then we're not actually showing people like certain tricks or anything. We're contextualizing everything into just like, you know, this is literally how this shit is done. Like, if you want to know how to write music from start to finish, this is exactly how it's done. We're both professional musicians, as gay as that sounds. I shouldn't say that, actually, it's politically incorrect. As stupid as that sounds, like, we both do this shit for a living, and this is how it's done. Like, any question that you probably have about production is answered in some way, shape, or form in this series. And not only that, like, looking through project files and reverse engineering them, I feel like is one of the best ways to learn, right?
And what you'll find is the reason that we included the whole separate stemmed out version is the way that we work is we actually take like huge chunks and bounce everything down. So we went ahead and added all of these patches that we used, because in the last version of the project, you're going to see that most of the shit is rendered down to like audio and isn't really usable.
Right, so this here's the pre-stemmed version, and at this point we'd already rendered stems down a few times and then put it into here, and then in the end we rendered stuff down again, because like you were saying just before, you never really stem stuff down before working with me, right? And you think that it's a good idea now.
It's so game changing. Like it just allows you to edit everything even more meticulously as you're like, as you can see, this project is ridiculous. It had so many channels, and
that was after we rendered the stems down once already. And then we rendered the stems down again and did a few final edits, and then did our mastering in this project file. So you also see how we do our mastering. It's really simple, and you can kind of see that we more or less just try and get our mix sitting right before it goes into the master. But yeah, like Nolan was saying, I think it's really game changing too doing this. I've been doing this for a while now. So the upside is that it transcends your mental processing power. So you're able to get really, like I was saying, meticulous with the editing, and you're able to, like, you know, put stuff in samplers much easier and kind of warp things and stretch them and granulize things and do all this stuff that would be a pain in the ass when you're dealing with hundreds of channels and lots of synths. So that's awesome. The downside to that is that when we share the project file with you, is that you don't get all of the stuff in its rawest format, so you can't see exactly how we made the patches, which is why we're giving you all of these stems, right? These racks in this bonus content folder. So you can see there's just a bunch of racks. Here's an example of like a Neurobase rack that Nolan made. So for this you'll need, I think, Satin is the only third-party plugin. Then the rest is just all Ableton stuff, so like Operator and FabFilter. I found that really amazing, actually, that you just use Operator.
Yeah, I try to stick to Ableton stuff as much as possible.
Yeah, that's really crazy. So yeah, we've got a few macro controls in here as well, as you can see. So yeah, what's going on here? Here we go. So the idea is that you kind of like, you know, automate all of those really meticulously to get cool Neurobase sounds. And there's a bunch of racks here. There's a few that are, most of them are instruments, but there's one that's just like an effect rack that Nolan made to make stuff sound all vocally and talky. So let's just try these on the vocals, maybe, actually. See how that sounds. Doesn't seem to be doing a lot. It's like, I guess, a filtering rack. I'm not sure why it's not sounding all cool and stuff. Anyway, Forget about that rack. That rack sucks. There's some garage bass racks that I made that I use a lot. This one uses Zebra. It's kind of, you know, some weird patch. So yeah, anyway, there's some patches here, which is cool because it's something that I've never really shared patches before. There's many reasons for that. So this is another cool garage patch. Yeah, I've never really shared patches because I've always felt like it's cooler just to allow people to discover synthesis stuff for themselves and teach them more about like the idea of like editing and building stuff in a sequencer and all of that kind of crap. But it's kind of cool to be able to share these patches with you. There's a sub that Nolan made, so if you don't have a good sub patch, that's a really nice one that he made in Operator. And then of course the final stems. So if you don't use Ableton, if you use Fruity Loops or Logic or something, you can just load all of these into your DAW and then just set your tempo to 150 and then go through and kind of hear everything that we've done here. Yeah, and I think that's kind of cool too, honestly. I think you can reverse engineer a lot just from having stems. Like for instance, when you listen to everything at once, sometimes it can be hard to like differentiate sounds from each other, but I think if you're just listening to stems and you kind of just listen to, say, the drums on their own, right? You can then go, oh, I get it, like that's how drums are supposed to sound on their own, you know? And then that gives you a better reference point of where to make your drum sounds in the future, or, you know, if you're listening to a bass on its own, maybe it sounds less complicated layered with the drums, you know? If you layer it with the drums as well, it can sound like maybe a little bit overwhelming to kind of differentiate what's going on, and maybe you'll hear it and be like, damn, that bass is retarded. But then when you hear them separately, it's maybe not quite as complicated as you thought, and it's more like a layering thing that you really needed to try and figure out.
Well, and then also all of these parts, including those patches that we put in there, you can go through the videos too and see exactly how they were built from scratch. So you have basically all of the content there to dig through, so you can really see how we did all these individual things, even when you're just looking at the sum of everything at the end.
Totally. So anyway, yeah, check the link in the description. I'm going to put a link to the tune, and I'm going to put a link to where you can get all of this content, watch all the video, and check out the project file and all that crap. It costs $30. That money is just me and Nolan are going to split it. I'll probably buy beer. I don't know what Nolan's going to do with his money. He'll probably buy more vape juice.
Yeah, it's all about that vape.
Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the tune. If you do, it's free. Go download it on Bandcamp. Pay for it if you want. Don't pay for it if you don't want. Don't really care. But yeah, anyway.
Chip, peace out.
Have a good one.